Welcome to another video. Maths again this time. Last week was adding two-digit numbers. This week is subtracting two-digit numbers. So just like last week, I started off by showing the partition method and then moving on to column addition. I'm going to do exactly the same this week. So I'm going to start off with using partitioning to solve subtraction, and then we're going to go on to column subtraction as well. So we're going to start off with a nice simple one. We're going to do 27 take away 13. Some of you might even be able to do this in your head, but still, right. We're going up in the world. I now have coloured whiteboard pens as well, but I'm not going to use those just yet. Okay, so what we're going to do, in fact I am, is we are going to do our tens with black. So here, 27 has 2 tens or 20, and then there are 7 ones, and 13 has 1 10 or 10 and 3 ones. Okay, it's always good to remember this, because when you come to do column subtraction, you're going to be doing exactly the same thing, just in a column. So now we're going to take the tens and we're going to take them away this time. So we're going to start, when you take away, you have to have the biggest number to start with. When you're adding, it doesn't matter which way round you do it. So we're going to do 20 take away 10. Hopefully you know that as 10. Now we're going to do our ones in the green pen. So ones, the biggest one is 7. We're taking away 3, and hopefully you're already shouting this out. It's definitely 4. Okay, so now we've taken the tens away and we've taken the ones away. Right, when we did this last time, you added those numbers together, and you've got to do exactly the same again. We do not take away as well, okay, because that would be like doing take away 7, take away 3, take away 3. So that's not going to work. So now what we've got to do is we've got to add these two numbers together. So we've got to do 10 add 4 equals, remember what I said, we can cheat, we just swap the 0 for whatever number we've got there. So we have the 1 and then we have the 4. Okay, it's a nice simple one because the first ones number is bigger than the second ones number. Okay, so we know that this will work. Right, if it's not bigger, it becomes a little bit trickier. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'm going to show you how to do the column method. So if we had, say, 22 take away 14 equals, here we have the ones number is smaller in the first number than it is in the second. So we're going to have to do something different, because if I was to do this, 22 and 10 and 4, I could do 20 take away 10, but I can't do 2 take away 4, and I can't swap it round. I can't say, well, that's 4 take away 2, because then that would be subtracting 24 take away 12, which we can't do. So what we've got to do is we've got to change it up a little bit. This is where it starts to get a little bit tricky with the partitioning method. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that 20. Okay. Make that 2. Make that 10. Make that 4. Right. But what we're going to do is this. Okay. We're actually going to change this one over to, what we're going to do is we're going to give one of these 10s to the ones. So we've got to take away 10 from here to make that 10, and we add 10 onto the 2 to make it 12. So we just partitioned it in a different way. You've done this before with me. So instead of having 20 and 2, we've got 10 and 12. if you put those two numbers together, it would still be 22. The 14 stays the same. So now we can do our subtraction as normal. Let's do the tens first. So we've got 10, take away 10, well that's going to be 0. And then we're going to do the ones. So we've got 12 ones. We've got 12 now, take away 4 equals, okay, so 12, count backwards, 11, 10, 9, 8. If you could do it in your head, that's brilliant. And now we've got the same as we had before. We're still adding these two numbers together. So we've got 0, add 8, which is 8. Okay, which is what our answer would be, equals 8. So the only thing we're changing with this one is we're partitioning the first number in a different way. We've got to give one of the 10s from over here to the 10 over there. And you can do that with bigger numbers as well. So let's try something a little bit bigger. And then we'll move on to the column method. So let's try something like 75, take away 38. Okay, so again, we know we're going to have to change this number because 5 there is smaller than the 8 there. So let's just do it as normal. 70 and 5 and 30 and 8. Okay, hopefully you should all know by now how I've got those numbers. 7 tens is 70, 3 tens is 30, and then the 5 and the 8 stay the same. So we've got to change this again. So we're taking 10 off here and giving it to this one. So that's going to become 60, and this one is going to become 15. I'm going to cross these out so that we know. So 60 add 15 is still 75. We're just going to be able to do this subtraction now. So then we've got our tens back to how we've done it before. So we've got 60, take away 30. Anyone know the answer to that one? Yeah, that's right, it's 30. And then we're going to do the 10, and then we're going to do the ones. So we've got the ones here. We've got 15, take away 8. Okay, so 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Another way of doing it would actually be to count on from 8 to 15, but still give you 7. What do we do with these two numbers? Yep, that's right, we've got to add them again. So we've got 30 add 7 equals, remember what I said, we swap the 0 with the ones number, keep the tens, so it's 37. Okay, right, I'm going to put that up there. 75 take away 38 equals 37, because we're going to come back and check that in a minute using column subtraction. Okay, it's a really good idea to be able to do that first before moving over to column subtraction. So let's start off with a nice simple one where we don't have to swap the numbers around like we did here. So let's do 69 take away 34. Okay, so this time we're going to use the column method just like we did with the addition last week. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the biggest number in, 69. We're going to put the smaller number in underneath. Okay, so once again we have the ones together and we have the tens together. So now we're just going down, just like we did with the column addition, but this time we're taking away. So here we've got 9 take away 4 is 5, and 6 take away 3 is 3. It does seem a lot easier, less steps, quicker, but you still need to realise that what you're doing is you're subtracting the ones and subtracting the tens. Just like you did with the partitioning. You are partitioning it, it's just an easier way of showing. But that's why we do 9 take away 4 and 6 take away 3. Okay, right. let's do one that you can do with me. So grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil, and let's see if we can work out this one together. So let's do let's do 28, no, let's do 48. 48 take away 31. Okay, so 8 take away, you can do 8 take away 1, so we won't have to worry about changing anything for this one. Let's do it together. So which of those numbers is going to go on the top? It's going to be the biggest one, 48. 31 underneath. If it helps to put the 1s and the 10s up and the takeaway sign there, that's fine. Right, 8 take away 1. You should all be able to do that. What is it? That's right, it's 7. Okay, 4 take away 3. Use your fingers if you need to. Write the answer in there. What have we got? We've got 1. And that is the answer, 17. So it's a lot quicker, but you still need to realise you're subtracting. This, when we did it with the partitioning, we subtracted the 10s first. When you do it with the column method, you subtract the 1s first. That's the only difference. Right then, this is where it starts to get a bit tricky. Let's go back to this question here. We already know the answer, so we can check if hopefully if we don't make any mistakes, we should get the same one. Okay, so 75 is the bigger number. I'm putting 75 underneath. 75 on top, sorry. 38 underneath. There's my line, there's my takeaway. Right, remember we couldn't do it when we were partitioning. We couldn't do 5 take away 8. And we can't do it here either. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is just the same as what we did up here with this one, with the partitioning. We're going to steal 10 from the 75, from the 7, and give it to the 5. So I'm going to use a different pen for this, different colour. So that then becomes 65, and that becomes 15, just like we had when we partitioned it before. And now we can do the calculation. 15 take away 8, as we said before, was 7, and 6 take away 3 is 3. Same answer that we got before. So what you're doing is, we call this borrowing, transferring, lots of different things, substituting. So we're taking away one from the 10 column and giving it to the 1 column. So that becomes 6 or 60, and that becomes 15. Let's give another one a go. And this will be the last one. And then I'm going to let you, this is to help you with the column subtraction questions in your pack, really, more than anything. So let's do a nice big one. 93 take away 55. So I know I'm going to have to do some transferring over, some substituting, because the 3 is smaller than the 5. I cannot swap these round. I can't do 95 take away 53 because that would be changing the question. So bigger number on the top, smaller number underneath. There's my line, there's my takeaway. So 3 take away 5. 3, can't do it, so we're going to have to swap again. That becomes 8, because we're taking a whole 10 off. So remember, that's 90, take away 10 is 80, so we've now got 83, and we're giving that 10 to there, so we've now got 13. So 13 take away 5, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. And then 8 take away 5, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, look at that, very close to that number up there. So the answer was 38. Okay, right, I'm just going to show you one more, because I'm not sure if your pack, if it goes into hundreds. So let's just see what happens when you've got a hundreds number. So let's do 121 take away 33. Again, the ones number there is smaller than the ones number there. So we're going to have to do some substituting. 121 on top, 33 underneath. Right, so 1 take away 3, can't do that. So we're going to have to borrow again. That was a 20, it's now become 10. And we give the 1 to there. Okay? Oh, I've made this more tricky than I wanted to. So now we've got 11 take away 3. So 11, 10, 9, 8 again. Seems to be a popular number in that space. Right, now I've got 1 take away 3. I can't do that either. So I'm going to have to borrow from the hundreds this time. So that becomes 0, and that becomes 11. So I'm giving a whole 100 over to that one. So we've now, that almost is 110 take away 30, or 11 take away 3. So I've done 11 take away 3 there. So it's the same answer again, 8. And now I've got no hundreds, take away nothing. So it's a 0 in there, or when you've got a 0, you don't need to put a number in there at all. So I did make that unintentionally more difficult than I wanted, because I had to do 2 substitutions, but at least you know how to do it now. Okay, so that sets you off for subtraction. You should be able to go through all the everything in the rest of the pack now that I gave you last week. So you've got the subtraction, you've got subtraction bonds to 20, fact families. If you're not quite sure about anything else, get mum or dad to email me and I'll do another video. Okay, good luck guys.